Bloomfield Township. My name is Brian Skowronski, and I hope you're ready for an exciting night of wrestling. We've got a try-me going on here tonight at the old Northmor School. Golden Knights are going to be in action against the Shelby Whippets and Mansfield Senior Tygers. But first, we've got the Tigers going toe-to-toe with the Shelby Whippets. For this, we're going to turn it over to Mike Skelton and Bruce Weirich, standing by with your call.
Thank you, Brian. Mike, it's going to be a great night for wrestling tonight.
It's good to see you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Any night's a good night for wrestling.
It really is. One of the nice things is you go into a basketball gym, you see the hoops there, and it's laid out mat to mat right now. And you got to love what's going on right now. You know, we have COVID. Everything's been put on hold. Nobody knows what's going on. But this is high school sports at its finest.
The ancient, honorable sport of wrestling. I love it.
And right now we're going to have Shelby, who is one of the dominant teams in the area right now, going against Mansfield Senior. And I got to love Mansfield Senior, being a 1972 graduate of Mansfield Senior and wrestling at Mansfield Senior. I had the old core. Bill Flanagan was our head coach. Tony Mulholland, Denny Jasinski were the assistant coaches. And basically, when you're at Mansfield Senior, when you got cut from the basketball team like I did, the next thing you know, the wrestling coach is right beside you, tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you're wrestling. And if you played football, they didn't let you out of the room. I mean, you had to do something. Weight programs weren't like they are today. So during the off season, you did the other sport. We are multi-sport athletes.
I know all those names and think highly of everyone. Mansfield Senior is a school that I fondly think of every year when the J.C. Gorman rolls around.
What's going on now on the mat right now is that senior high does not have a full lineup. There's 14 weight classes. They were unable to fill the weight classes. So Shelby is receiving what is called a forfeit. When there's nobody to wrestle and you make weight, you work all week in practice to make weight. You've earned the right. You go out there, you're still going to get your hand raised.
Nothing better than getting your hand raised in wrestling. It's a thrill.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later. You know, wrestling's different than any other sport. One of the things that really gets me is that when you're on that mat, it is just you. Nobody else, just you.
These first 4 weight classes, you're seeing forfeits right now. Just boom, 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 boom.
What that means is that senior high is unable to fill that weight class. And it's the 106, 113, 120, 126, and 132. And schools go through periods like that. They won't have any lightweights, but they have good heavyweights or the middleweights. So right now, where the first match of the evening comes up, this is our 138-pound weight class. And we have from Shelby, Baker, and from senior high, Cameron.
Ishmael Cameron is a junior, and Garrett Baker is a junior.
We have 2 young men wrestling out there. In the first period, when the meet starts or the match starts, both wrestlers are on their feet. The official put both of them up. And what we're doing right now, the 2 wrestlers just kind of feeling each other out. Shelby takes a shot. A shot is when you try and get in on the single leg, try to get control of the wrestler, get him down on the mat. They're both kind of feeling themselves out right now. And Mike, the one thing I like about wrestling is those 2 athletes are basically physically the same. 2 points, takedown, Shelby.
You got to call wrestling one of the most fair sports in the world. You got to weigh in. So you're gonna compete against somebody your size.
And
quick
Shelby,
pin there.
quick pin.
Quick pin.
After he got the takedown, he was able to roll him over, put him into a stacked position.
I think Cameron got stuck.
And the big thing about this is that, you know, the pin is the ultimate glory for you on that mat.
Most sports, you're going to play 4 quarters, 9 innings. In wrestling, if you pin that kid in 20 seconds, the match is over.
This is the 138-pound weight class. Senior high is unable to match it, so it's another forfeit. And we are now coming up to the 45-pound weight class. That'll be a forfeit.
Let's give a shout out while we're running out those forfeits to the Mansfield Senior head coach, Zach Brumfield. Zach is unfortunately going through his 3rd session with quarantine this season. So Mansfield Senior, they're still well coached. They've got 4 or 5 capable assistants here tonight, but the head coach is not here, Coach Brumfield.
This is now the 160-pound weight class. Mansfield Senior Jacob Lyons and Shelby Garrett Sipe.
And earlier today, Coach Brumfield told me to give a shout out to his 2 seniors. Jacob Lyons is one of those seniors. The other one would be Dominic Kinney.
One of the things you got to think about, Mike, is experience. When you're a wrestler, you just don't come out your senior year and say, hey, I want to be a wrestler and jump on that mat. You're going to run into some people who have been wrestling since they could walk. And right now, we have the 2 wrestlers out on the mat trying to feel each other out. Shelby, single leg. He gets in on the single leg, works the controls, the senior high wrestler.
Incidentally, that is a freshman wrestling a senior.
Reversal.
Shelby sent out a freshman to wrestle Jacob Lyons, the senior.
And Lyons just pulled a reversal. Mike and I will talk a little bit later about what we're saying when it's a reversal, when it's a takedown. A reversal is worth 2 points. The senior high wrestler is now looking like he's going to put the legs in. He wraps up the other wrestler's legs.
Crossbody.
It's a crossbody ride. He'll break him down, try and pull his arm over his head and move him to his back.
Right now, he's just working to control those wrists. He wants to break his opponent down. And the best way to do that is to control those wrists.
My coach used to always say, you got to have hand control. You got to have hand control. You got to control their hands. If you control their hands, they can't touch it. They can't do anything to you. And right now, senior high has a tight waist.
Tilt.
That move that he just tried was a tilt.
They're on the line. Sometime tonight, we'll try and explain the line. The line gets complicated even for people who do understand wrestling.
And that's why the man in the stripes is out there.
The 2 officials tonight, you're looking at A.J. Sentieri officiating the varsity match. And over on the junior high mat right now is John Hinton, who happens to be the sheriff of Morrow County.
We have a penalty right now. You can see the official holding his hands over. What he's saying is that senior high locked his hands. It's going to be a 1-point penalty.
You can only lock your hands when you're in a pinning combination.
When both wrestlers are on the mat, you are not allowed to lock your hands to hold the man down.
Well said.
And senior high did that. And what he tried to do, he was losing control of the senior high wrestler, or the Shelby wrestler. So what do? You lock hands. Well, that's a penalty. Can't do that. Nice stand up by Shelby. I'll tell you, for a freshman, he's got some nice moves, Mike. He was able to stand up.
Well, that Shelby wrestling room right now is just filled with athletes and wrestlers. Coach Ted Ton and his staff have done a fantastic job. They are one of the powers in the MOAC this year.
And one thing I like is every time they go to a tournament, they have champions. Shelby always has champions this year. And that's workout in the wrestling room.
They're loaded. Shelby is 16-3 in dual matches this year. 16 wins, 3 losses. They're pretty cussed good.
Yeah. This is the second period. Senior high had their choice, and senior high deferred the call, which means he's going to let Shelby make the call. Shelby decides to take down. Senior high will go on top. When I was coaching, I used to always tell my kids, you always take down. It's easier to score points off the bottom than it is on top. An escape, a reversal. Right now, senior high has control. He's got the arm bar. Nice movement by Shelby.
Yes, it was.
The thing I like about Shelby, he's constantly moving, Mike. Always moving on the mat.
And remember, that's a freshman wrestling a senior. That would be the only disparity that you can see in a wrestling match. They're going to weigh the same amount, but you can get a difference of a couple years in age.
And Mike and I talked about this the last match we were at. Wrestling is nothing but one wrestler makes a move, the other wrestler counters it.
A little bit of a chess match.
Counter. Move, counter. Right now, senior high has broken Shelby down. Most of the time, you want to get the wrestler who you are on top of down on the mat. You want to get him off of his base. You want to control the man. Once you get control of him, then you can start moving a move. And right now, the senior high wrestler is going to try and put the half in.
He's got that half in.
He's got the half in. He's going to try and jump to the side here real quick, and he'll try and roll him over.
And he needs to get to the side to work the half. He's not going to work it with double legs in. He's going to keep the kid down. There you see, he came off the body and jumped to the side. but I think the official, A.J. Santeri, called that potentially dangerous.
And what a potentially dangerous move is that the number one priority of those officials out there is safety on the mat. You don't want anybody getting hurt. And whenever a wrestler puts somebody else in a position where their arm can get hurt, their leg can get hurt, he'll call potentially dangerous. He'll bring both wrestlers back to a neutral position or a down or up position and start again. Again, senior high, put the half in. He's got the far arm. He's now jumped out to the side, Mike.
He's turned
And
it.
this doesn't look too good.
When the official starts ticking off, you'll see him, when he starts ticking off those seconds, the minute he gets 2 ticks, 1001, 1002, that's a near fall worth 2 points. If he can count to 5, then as he just did right there, it's a near fall worth 3 points. But what happened was,
Illegal hold.
yes, the near fall, after he held it for 5 seconds, slipped into a full Nelson, and that's an illegal hold. So you actually saw Lions score 3 points, and then the freshman, Garrett Sipe, get 1 point. So the match score now is 5-4.
Nice move by Shelby, trying to get out. He stands up, gets control. The official's going to give, even though he was out of bounds, the senior high wrestler lost control of him. 1 point Shelby.
5-5.
Both wrestlers will be up right now.
5-5.
And we're getting down to where it's conditioning, Mike. Who's in better shape?
You know, that's tough in this COVID year to keep your conditioning level high. You just don't know who's going to be in the practice room week to week.
In senior high,
that was a violent head and arm.
A head and arm is a toss where you take them right to their back.
So he got 2 points for the takedown. The official ticked off 5, so he gets an additional 3. That was a 5-point move, Bruce.
And that's something, being a freshman, he'll remember that move. He'll remember being put on his back by head and arms, and he'll work to get out of it next time. He will not let that happen to him again.
You always remember the matches you lose.
Yep. And you know, that's one thing I used to always stress when I was coaching. You don't get better in practice by winning every match. You get better in practice when you get beat on by somebody better than you, and you're going to get better and better and improve yourself.
You got to practice your weakness if you want to get better. There's no point in just practicing your strength.
Yeah. Senior high is down 5 points. He's on top. He needs to get points, and the only way he's going to get points is to put the senior high wrestler on his back.
There's an escape, 1 point. Yeah, you practice your weakness in practice. Once you get to game competition, match competition, go with what got you there.
Nice.
Nice shot. Nice takedown. 2 points. You see the official signal that.
He gets 2 for the takedown. He's going to get 2 for back. He's up by 10. Anytime you can go up 15 points, that's called a tech fall, and the match will be called. That's kind of like the mercy rule in wrestling.
A decision for a team is worth 3 team points. A major decision is worth 4 team points, and a major decision is anywhere from an 8 to a 14-point spread. So if you win 8-0, 9-1, that would be a major decision. And as Bruce said, anything 15 or over is a tech fall. That's worth 5 team points. A pin is worth 6.
I can still remember the old days, Mike, when some of these wrestlers who were really good at takedowns would take them down, let them up, take them down, let them up. Your score would be 30 to 15, and they would just keep beating on you.
You'll still see that occasionally.
Yep. But with the mercy rule, once you're down by 15 points, the match is over. There's 38 seconds to go. Senior high's up 15-5. Make that 17-5.
Senior high has a proud tradition in wrestling.
Now it's 17-6. Senior high is better at takedowns, so he takes the wrestler down, and then he lets him go. Gets 1 point. Shelby's got a good single leg in there. He's got it tight. Senior high is on top, putting pressure on the head. Keep his head down. You want to keep the wrestler's head down on the mat. 4, 3, 2,
Working the tilt.
1, and we're done.
17-5, a 12-point spread, so that's worth 4 team points.
And that's a major decision. I'll tell you what, the freshmen learned a lot out there, Mike.
That makes the team score 30-4. Shelby's ahead 30-4. The freshman has nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
He never gave up.
And I like what he did. He kept attacking. He was physical. He was aggressive, and he kept going after things.
I'm not surprised. Shelby puts athletes on the mat.
We're now at the 170-pound weight class. Leo Hess from Mansfield Senior versus Max Weaver from Shelby.
Leo's a 10th grader. Max Weaver is a junior. Boy, that's a stout 10th grader, isn't he?
It is. It is. He's got a build on him. And when you start getting up into these weights, like the 170-pound weight class, you're going to start seeing the different physical,
Yeah, look at the legs.
Oh,
look at the legs.
Nice.
Those are some
takedown.
powerful legs.
Yep. Nice takedown by Mansfield Senior. That's a 2-point takedown. He now has control. What he's going to try and do is keep the Shelby wrestler off of his base. And what we talk about as the base is when you get back to all four. You get back on your knees and you push your hands up. You're back to your base. And once you work to your base, then you can get off the bottom. You can work to get off the bottom.
There's no moves you're going to get from your belly. You just got to get up to your base.
And right now, we're starting to see Senior High has been working on the arm bar. You can see that, Mike. They're going with a tight waist. They're pulling that arm down. And some teams, they get an identity. They're a good half team. They're a good cradle team. Senior High seems to be working the arm bar. They're working it, trying to tilt him over. There he goes.
He's controlling him.
Shelby's trying to get to his base.
Right there, they went out of bounds. The line is actually inbounds in wrestling. In a lot of sports, the line will be out of bounds, but the line in wrestling is inbounds.
Senior High had the takedown. They had control. When they went out of bounds, they were able to pull it back in. The score right now, team score is Shelby 30, Mansfield Senior 4. Senior High has control of this 175-pound match right now.
And it doesn't look like it's going to change. He's a physical presence, isn't he? That's a good-looking sophomore.
And the one thing people don't realize, that young man from Senior High, he's putting 170 pounds of pressure on you. And every time you push off the mat, you're lifting 170 pounds getting to your base. And believe it or not, by the third period, that will wear you out.
2-2-2. Matches are 2-2-2 in length at the high school level. On the other mat, they're wrestling junior high matches. They're 1.5-minute periods in length.
We now go into the second period. The choice belongs to Shelby. Shelby looking to his coach saying, Coach, what do you want me to do? Coach says defer. Senior High has their choice. Senior High chooses to go down. And I like going down. You are able to get away. You can escape, get a reversal. You can score points off the bottom. Senior High stands up, turns in, 1-point escape. Now he's back on it. 2-point takedown or 2-point reversal. He has him on the back. As Mike said, you can see the official waving his hand. He counts off. Senior High now goes to a head and arms.
Tough to fight out of a head and arm.
Once that wrestler tightens that up, boy, oh boy, it's hard to breathe. And I think that's what the official did here. He's giving him 3. And potentially dangerous.
No,
1 point senior.
Not potentially dangerous. Illegal.
Oh, illegal?
Illegal. He called that illegal. It slipped. See the official explaining it?
What he did, he had the gentleman's elbow. As long as you have the elbow or down to the wrist, you're fine in the head and arms. But if you go above that and your hands connect, then you have a problem.
You're just not allowed to lock your hands around the opponent's head. Actually, there is one move where they'll enable you to do that. That's on a cross-body pinning combination. That's
right now,
high-level wrestling there.
Senior High is just kind of riding his opponent. He's keeping Shelby on the mat, off his base. Now Shelby works back to his base. Senior high breaks him down. Again, remember, that's 170 pounds pushing on you. He's got the arm. Again. He's trying to turn him. He gets out to the side.
He's up 9-1, and he's racking up more pinpoints right here.
You can see the official waving his hands, counting the points off for near fall. A near fall is a position where the back is exposed to the mat, but you haven't got him down to the mat yet. That wrestler on the bottom is really working to get off of it. Senior high got himself a little bit high, out of position.
3 points, near
fall.
1 point escape. Red.
1 point. Both up.
Of course, red is Shelby. Green is Mansfield Senior.
We're in the second period. There's about 12 seconds left. I like Shelby's aggressiveness. Oh, he let him slip behind. Mansfield Senior, 2-point takedown.
This good-looking sophomore is probably drilling every day with that senior, Jacob Lyons. And Jacob Lyons is making that sophomore better.
And one of the things that I've always noticed, Mike, is that when a wrestler goes to state, there's usually somebody in his weight room that helped him get there, and he's going with him.
It's imperative that you have good practice partners.
You work all week long, and then you go on the mat, and in 5 minutes or less, it's over.
You're seeing a high school match, live and free, 14 weight classes in a high school match. The other mat is a junior high match. We're not watching it, but there are actually 16 weight classes, Bruce, for junior high wrestling.
Yep.
Think about that. Only 2 grades, 7 and 8, and 16 weight classes to fill.
I think you want to get as many kids out and let them participate.
That's what I'm pointing towards.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier what a great sport this is and how it's fair. It's 16 weight classes. If you want to hit the starting lineup, wrestling is a good place to do it, regardless of your size.
Right now, Mansfield Seniors ahead 13-2. Shelby needs to make a move. He's got to put the senior high wrestler on his back. To get out of this with a victory, Shelby has got to put the man on his back and get a pin.
Score is 13-2 right now in favor of Mansfield Senior.
The official, whenever he holds his hands together, he's calling a stalemate. Both wrestlers, no action on the mat. Nobody's making a move. He'll call stalemate, bring them back to the last position they were in, and start them up again.
You know, Northmore's principal graduated from Shelby, Brendan Gwirtz. Shout out to Brendan Gwirtz. Mr. Gwirtz, how are you? I'm sure he's watching tonight at home. And at home's a great place to be watching this because it's cold out there and there's a lot of snow.
And I'll tell you another thing, Mike, there was a little bit of drizzle and the roads were a little bit slick out there.
Well, you're a city boy. You're out on those county roads right now. Yeah. And once you enter it.
2-point takedown, senior high. Now, it's tough to pin somebody when they're outside the circle.
You can, though. You can.
You can do it as long as you have the control.
That's exactly right. His shoulders can be completely outside that 28-foot circle. That's what it is, a 28-foot circle, and you can still record the pin.
Now, this is what was called a tech fall. The senior high wrestler was ahead by more than 15 points. The official lets them finish the move, and as soon as they go back out of it, it's like if you're in a pinning combination, he'll let you try and pin him. But once the bottom wrestler moves out of that position, the match is over.
But going back to what we were talking about, he was collecting near fall points, even though the defensive wrestler's shoulders were out of bounds, one wrestler was inbounds. Yeah. All you need are 2 supporting points inbounds.
We're now at a 182-pound weight class. We have Dominic Kennedy and Micah Shackle.
Dominic is one of the 2 seniors on the senior high team, and Micah Shackle is a freshman. So again, we're looking at a freshman wrestle as senior. But I don't expect that Shelby freshman to back down at all.
No. When you practice every day against wrestlers in the wrestling room, you just keep getting better and better. Your experience jumps up real high. 2 points, senior high. Takedown.
They need to update the team score on the board, but it is 42-9, I believe.
Senior High work to the cradle.
Senior
This is
High
one of those
about to win their
situations
third
where you
match
can
in a row. That was a
lock their
quick
hand,
pin.
quick pin, and it's over.
Your two seniors won tonight, Coach Brumfield.
Got to be proud about that. That's your leadership. Leadership in the locker, in the wrestling room. We are now at 195, and we're starting to get up to these linebackers, Mike. These are the guys that play linebacker on the football team, and these are your studs that get drafted to the colleges. These are the people that can move. This is a 195-pound weight class, and at 195 we have Marcus Troop versus Nathan Zahner from Shelby.
I think it's Trochet.
Cochet.
Marcus Trochet is a junior.
Oh, this is a good match. Two physical
Nathan
athletes
Zahner
going
for
at
Shelby is a senior.
it. And right now we're going to take it down to Brian to talk to the wrestling mat winner. Brian, it's all yours.
All right, Dominic Kinney is with me right now. You got the first pin here of the evening. Tell me about the satisfaction when you go out and you get it done in the style I know that you want to.
It just feels amazing to know that you can just like hold a man down on his back against his will, I guess.
First pin for senior high.
Looks like the Tigers starting to get a little bit of juice flowing here. You know, a few wins in a row. I know that the season hasn't really gone the way that you guys wanted it to in terms of wins and losses. Feels like you're starting to build some momentum here, though.
Yeah, we're starting to get it going right now. Yeah.
Well, hey, congratulations and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
We have two wrestlers out there just going at it.
And this speaks to what we were talking about earlier. Even though it looks like they're out of bounds, the Shelby wrestler has two supporting points inbounds, so he can collect a fall, and you can see they're ticking them off. It looks sometimes to the moms in the stands or the uneducated people in the stands like they're out of bounds. No, 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 no. That was a pin.
And it's a pin by Shelby. Boy, he's a good-looking wrestler right now.
Tough senior.
Yep. We're starting to get up into the upper weight classes. We only have two classes left, the 220 and the 285. Right now we have
Mackay Bradley,
for
Coach's
senior high
son.
and for Shelby,
Hi, Coach
Carson
Bradley.
Ingram.
And Carson Ingram is a senior. Mackay Bradley is a sophomore, but
The official's getting them set. Whistle's blown, and
he's
here
not
we
your
go.
average sophomore.
220 pounds out there, gentlemen. Simple throw-bys. Shelby, tight waist. Can't handle it. Senior high breaks the hold. I like it when you get two big guys that can move. A simple throw-by by Mansfield Senior High. He's
My
now
son
up
wrestled
2
this
to
weight
nothing.
class.
Yep.
My son Fletcher wrestled this weight class, so obviously it's one of my favorite weight classes.
That's a simple reversal by Shelby. Gets a 2-point reversal. Cannot control Senior High. Senior High gets away. That's called an escape, a 1-point escape. Both wrestlers are up in the neutral position.
3-2 is the score. Mansfield
Simple
Senior ahead.
throwdown by Senior High.
Now it's 5-2.
2-point takedown.
He kicked him out. 5-3. Takes him down, 2 more, and he's doing just what Bruce talked about earlier in the match, playing the takedown game. Take him down, let him up, take him down.
And right now, simple throw by Shelby. Lateral drop.
The takedown game
And a
backfired
pin.
on the young sophomore. The takedown game backfired, and the senior had a throw.
And that was
that was a lateral drop.
Yep. And right now we're taking it down to Brian again. Brian, you're on the mat with the Shelby champion.
All right, now back-to-back pins now for Shelby. The first here, Nathan Zahner. Tell me about your performance out there, and ultimately, how'd you get that finish?
I was just trying to get done as quick as I could, coming off an injury. So I basically just pushed until I got the pin.
Tigers were starting to put together a little bit of momentum. You ended that for them. I guess how much pride do you take in doing that?
That's kind of my role. Every time I go out, I expect to get 6 on myself, and I think my team expects that as well.
I just seen your teammate came up with a nice pin there. You guys have been quite the 1-2 punch this year. Just tell me what you feel like you bring to the table.
With us two, we're practice partners, both top 10 in the state. Practice is crazy because we push each other pretty damn hard.
All right, so Nathan Zahner in big pin. Carson Ingram just got one too. We'll try to catch up with him in a minute. Send it back to Bruce.
And right now we have the heavyweights on the mat. 280-pound limit for these guys. From Mansfield Senior, we have an Aaron Wade, and from Shelby, Zach McMillan.
Aaron Wade is a sophomore. Zach McMillan is a senior.
And right now they are in a pinning combination. Senior high puts him on his back. The officials counting off points. Shelby's roll.
On the line, but it counts.
On the line.
A pin on the line.
You know, I can't imagine what it feels like to be laying down there looking at the lights with 285 pounds on top of you, Mike.
I can't tell you, I never saw the ceiling when I wrestled.
Oh, I saw it a few times. I have to admit that. And that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, senior high may have not put a lot of wrestlers on the mat. They fielded 7 wrestlers tonight, but I believe they won 4 of those 7 matches.
And that's one thing when you have a team where you can't fill all the weight class, you talk about winning on the mat.
Yeah, and one of the matches they lost is a state quality wrestler in Mackay Bradley.
And we're going to take a break right now. We'll come back to you in a minute. This is the OH Report from Northmor High School.
back at Northmor for the Wrestling Try-Me, and I got Tigers head football coach Shelby Bradley here in the house, being a proud papa, and then just an overall fan, a lot of football players out here on the wrestling mat. Tell me about just the enjoyment that you get out of coming out here and watching the crossover athletes compete in a different avenue.
Yeah, it's always nice to come out and watch, a lot of different schools and a lot of different athletes do some different stuff other than, just play football, man. I'm a fan of, just sports in general. And my son is here, my nephew here too. And the Tigers is here, so I come out and support. And then, get an opportunity to see some of the other local talent come out and do some good things. It's a blessing.
And I imagine that there's got to be a lot of benefits from the wrestling mat that translates over to football and vice versa.
Yeah, I think, some of your best football players are, if you look at their background over the years, man, they were great wrestlers along the way. Angelo Gross is one of the ones that comes to mind for me. Angelo was a tremendous wrestler, man, in middle school and as a a young kid, where he won some state championships along the way when he was younger, and probably would have been a high school state champion wrestling if he would have stuck it out throughout high school. And now he's playing some great football at Michigan State. And I think that wrestling background, that wrestling pedigree, helped him, along the way, man. But those, a good open field tackle ain't nothing but a double-leg takedown. So, that's always good.
All right, Shelby Bradley, head coach for Mansfield Senior, here in the building tonight, taking in some of the wrestling action, as am I, as are Bruce and Mike up top, standing by. We'll throw it back up top to them.
Well said, Coach Bradley. Well said, Coach Bradley. We love to see the marriage between football and wrestling. In fact, Northmore's football coach is in the house too. He's one of our junior high wrestling coaches. Coach Armrose, shout out to you and to your junior high wrestlers who just won the junior high league last Saturday. 5 champions for the junior high Golden Knights.
And it's really awesome, Mike, that you can come here and see football players. You can see coaches, track coaches are coming in. You want to watch these kids on the mat because this is where it's at. You're building individual character out on that mat, Mike.
Wrestling does build character. I've said it many times. An ancient, honorable sport. The old Greeks, Romans, they all wrestled.
And one of the things I used to love about wrestling is that when you start with a young kid in junior high, you can see them start to develop, and they get better and better, and they learn it, and they get it in their blood, and they want to get more and more, and they want to learn more. And then you look at them when they're seniors and juniors, say, man, I helped coach that young man. And it pays off. It's big dividends when you see these athletes out there working. And right now we're going to send it down to Brian on the mat with another interview. Brian?
I'm now joined by one of the top wrestlers in the state at his weight class, Carson Ingram, coming off of a big win there. That was some good back and forth action. Take me through the final finish there and ultimately how you got it done.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was getting my butt kicked. I don't know why. He's a great kid. He's a sophomore. He's gonna be a stud in a couple years, I think. But I came out super flat. He was kicking my butt in the first 45. I'm not even gonna lie. He took me down 3 or 4 times, no problem. I didn't wrestle. I'm probably the worst I've wrestled my freshman year. But I said, you know what? I have this throw I like. I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna finish the match. But yeah, I'm really disappointed in my performance, honestly. Even though it was a win, some wins don't feel like wins, and that didn't feel like a win.
Well, you should get another opportunity to put your talents out here on the mat. Yeah. You're 29-0 now. You feel like you're ranked close to the top 10. Where do you feel like you fit into the equation, though, in terms of the overall landscape competing for a state championship?
Yeah, I definitely think that 220 is such a deep weight class. Honestly, anyone who makes it to state has a chance to win it. All 16 guys have a legitimate chance, I think, this year. So if I make it, I'm in the hunt with the other 15 guys to, get state championship. But it's going to be a tough year even just to make it state. Our districts is stacked, but I just want to take it, one step at a time, because if I look at state championship, maybe I get knocked out districts or sectionals even. So, it's one day at a time for me because it's such a deep weight class.
Well, we're just grateful that we get state championships this year. Hopefully you have an opportunity to get all the way down there, and we look forward to watching you compete one more time tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, throw it back up. Bruce, take it away.
Brian, good interview. Thank you, Brian. Good interview down there.
Carson Ingram sounds like an intelligent young man.
Yes, he is. He knows what he has a vision. And that's one of the things I like about wrestling. These young men, they have a vision. They know where they want to go. They know what they have to do.
It was a memorable match, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like he said, he was getting killed.
Two state-ranked wrestlers, Bradley and Ingram, going at it.
He comes right out and says, hey, I was getting my butt whipped, and I had to do something. I had a big throw. I caught him in a move, and down he went. But he brought up a good point there. You got to make it to the big dance. I think that's the goal of every wrestler in this room right now. Every wrestler sitting in here wrestling, if you're a varsity or not, you want to make it to the big dance, the state wrestling championships, Mike. And you've been there.
We have been there. Northmor puts some kids into the state tournament every year. In fact, we had 5 last year. But as we look at this year's team, only one of those 5 has returned. It is a very young team for head coach Carr. Scott Carr is doing a good job with the young program that has no seniors this year. It was a terrible year for a team to be young in any sport. I want you to think about it. You had no spring tournaments to feed off of, no AAU tournaments. You had no summer weightlifting. You had no summer camps. So for any team, our basketball program is the same way. Our basketball coach is a great guy, Blade Tackett. I watched them last night. They won by 13 points over Danville. But he has a young team, and being a first-year head coach, he didn't have spring, summer to work with them. It's just a terrible year. It's a good year to have a varsity-laden, senior-laden team, and that's what you're about to see in Shelby. Shelby features 5 seniors in their starting lineup.
And right now, the captains are out on the mat. The official standing there, he has a disc in his hand. He's going to flip that disc, and it's going to go red or green. And whoever wins the flip, they'll have their choice of either the odd matches or the even matches. So Northmor has their choice. They either took the odd matches or the even matches. And what that means is they're going to have the first call. And the official will go over to the score table and say, okay, Northmor took odd, so all the odd matches, they will have their choice.
It is an odd year again.
Yeah, it really is.
Let me explain another way it's odd. Northmor wrestled its league tournament last Saturday. Shelby doesn't wrestle their league tournament, the MOAC, until a week from this coming Saturday. They're going to wrestle their league tournament the week before the sectionals. The sectionals this year are February 27th and 28th. That's a Saturday and Sunday. Northmor's league, the KMAC, decided because of COVID reasons they were going to hold their league meet several weeks before the sectional.
So now we're coming out here. There's 2 quick forfeits.
This is the
Northmor
only
gets a forfeit at 106.
Yep.
Cohen Hurst. Then at 113, Shelby will get a forfeit. Joshua Getler.
Yes.
He's going to go out and get him forfeit. So right now the score is going to be 6-6 when we start at the 120-pound weight class. This is the 113-pound weight class. The young man's raising his hand. He is the champion at that weight class. Now we go to 120. Northmor sends out C.J. Stoney, and Shelby's going to send out A.J. Roll.
C.J. Stoney was a league champion last weekend. He's only a sophomore.
And I tell you,
Anderson Roll is a freshman for Shelby High.
Usually in the lighter lightweights, you have your freshmen and sophomores. They haven't gone through that growth spurt yet. And I love these guys. They're agile. They can move. Look at the build on some of these young men.
That Stoney kid, his dad wrestled for Northmor, and he's got the lineage, trust me.
Right now, they're in a head tie-up, just kind of feeling each other out. Northmor trying to get hand control. He's got an underhook.
Again, Stoney's a league champion, but Shelby does not wrestle their league for another, 10, 12 days from now.
That was a nice shot, but it was off the mat. A little bit of coaching.
Everybody's going to wrestle their sectional. on February 27th and 28th. In wrestling, you go sectional, district, state. There is no regional. It's sectional, district, state.
Nice job by Northmor getting in on the leg. One of the quickest way to get 2 points in wrestling is called a takedown. It's a single leg takedown. You shoot in on the man's leg, you lift it, put him on the mat.
Stoney is the aggressor. He's shooting.
They are the aggressor. Stalling.
The team score is 6-6 because each team had a forfeit at 106 and at 113.
The official's wearing 2 wristbands. Green is for home, which is Northmor. Red is for senior high, the away team. Anytime he puts his hand up, if it's 2 points for Northmor, it'll be the green. Right then, he gave a stalling warning to senior high for backing off the mat,
Shelby
not
high.
wrestling.
Shelby high. Shelby high.
Or Shelby.
Shelby's backing up a little bit, and the official, Mr. Sentieri, did not like that. He cautioned the Shelby wrestler.
Nice takedown. The official holds up the green wristband. 2 points takedown, Northmor.
2 points for Mr. Stoney.
Now, both wrestlers have their own agenda right now. The man on top is going to work for the pin. He wants to get back points. He throws the half in.
Half and a wrist.
There it is. One of the first moves you teach a junior high wrestler is
See
put
the
the
way
half
he
in.
got perpendicular? When he got perpendicular rather than parallel to the body, that puts an awful lot of weight on the opponent.
And that's a pin by Northmor. C.J. Choney, conference champ. He's a good-looking wrestler, Mike.
He is.
Wow.
Northmor thinks very highly of him. He'll probably compete in the state tournament one day.
Very good wrestler.
Now we're about to see.
At the 126-pound weight class, we have Northmor's Bryant Randolph, and for Shelby, Nathan Gonshorn.
Yeah, that's right. Nathan Gonshorn is a junior.
And now we're going to take it down to the mat to Brian. Brian, are we ready for
this?
All right,
CJ Stoney just coming off of a nice pin victory. Take me through it, man, how you ended up finishing that.
Started off, I couldn't get in very good position. And finally able to get on top and get in a wing and put him on his back.
Just tell me about the satisfaction that you feel, when you get your hand raised. Take me through that.
Feels good. I mean, proud moment, self-confidence, good boost, and it always feels good to get a win off the mat.
All right, congratulations. Starting Northmor off on the right foot here. Send it back up to Bruce.
So Northmor sent out a freshman in this match.
And it kind of shows senior high gets the takedown.
Nope, that's Shelby.
Or Shelby, I'm sorry about that.
That's Bryant Randolph for Northmor. He is only a freshman, but he's a game young man. He's no quitter.
And what Shelby's working, he's out on the side. He's trying to put the half in. He's working the head. And if you notice, Northmor's head is on the mat. It takes so much pressure to get that guy off and get your head raised up. It wears you down after a while. Shelby's working. I like Northmor trying to get back to his base.
They call it the longest 6 minutes in sports.
Right now, Shelby has a far ankle. He keeps working that far ankle to help keep Northmor off his base. If you do that too long, the official will call you for stalling. You have to wrestle. If you're on top, you have to progress to a pin. You have to make something happen.
Can't ride. You got to work for the fall.
Northmor gets to stand up. Nice arch, trying to arch, get the turn.
He ticked off 2 right there.
He exposed his back. Shelby was able to control him.
When he ticks off 2, he's going to get 2.
2 points. End of the first period. 4.
The match score is 4-0. The team score is 12-6.
Shelby
Northmor's
second
ahead
period.
12-6.
Shelby second period decides to go down. Nice movement. When you're on the bottom, all you want to do is keep moving. Eventually, you'll come up on top. Pop. And there it is. 2-point reversal, Shelby.
Bryant Randolph tried to float behind on that, but about the third move,
as Mike and I talked about it earlier, wrestling is just one move after another move after another move.
Well, you climb the ladder in wrestling. You know, you learn moves, but when you can begin to put moves together, you've climbed that ladder to a higher rung. Putting moves together is called chain wrestling. And when you put the links of a chain together, the chain's pretty strong.
And Shelby puts Northmor under their back. He's got the half in.
He's perpendicular.
He's going to have to work his way to get off that
lot
bottom.
of weight on that chest when you get perpendicular.
And there's the pin by Shelby. Nice match. Nice match by Shelby. He was the aggressor, knew what he wanted to do.
I think the Shelby athlete wanted to help him up, but he knew he wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
Fine young men. Okay, here comes a
this
real
is a
athlete.
Forfeit at
Northmor.
132. Shelby will go out and collect the forfeit at 132. Northmor does not have a 32-pounder.
But at 138, we're going to send out Marcus Cortez.
Marcus Cortez and Shelby will send out Garrett Baker.
Garrett Baker is a junior. He knows what he's doing too. This could be a fine match. Cortez is a junior, a league runner-up last week. You're going to see two fine athletes go at it in this bout.
And you can see two different styles. Shelby staying low, puts a knee on the mat. Hard to get the single leg. Northmor's going to have to work around him. Both wrestlers are kind of feeling each other out.
They're fighting for hand control right now, trying to get a setup.
As Coach Skelton said, you want to get hand control. If you can control your opponent's hands, that gives you the freedom to make the move. And what he's trying to do, each wrestler's trying to get in on one of those legs.
And when we say hand control, the wrist is really part of the hand in wrestling.
Both wrestlers just kind of working around, feeling each other out, looking for an opening.
That's what happens when you got two equally talented athletes. They're going to go out there
and the thing that happens, Mike, is one wrestler will make a small mistake.
Yeah.
And the other wrestler will capitalize on that little error, and the next thing you know, you're in trouble and you're back on the scoreboard.
Watch the film to make sure you don't make that mistake again. Out of bounds, back on your feet, center mat.
Both wrestlers, no wrestlers had a takedown yet. So both wrestlers started in the neutral position, which means they're both up. Throw by. Northmor tried a simple throw by.
Sometimes you hear throw by called slide by, same thing.
You have two wrestlers out there on the mat that really respect each other. They kind of know if you make a mistake, it might be over for you. We're down to about 9, 8, 7 seconds. First period is going to be scoreless, 0-0.
Speaking of football, Marcus Cortez is the quarterback of our high school football team. So you know now he's a leader.
We go to the second period. Northmor's choice. Northmor defers to Shelby. Shelby wants to try and get some points. They're going to take down. Northmor has to control him or he's going to lose him, and that'll be a 1-point escape, or Shelby can get the reversal. 1-point escape.
Out. He let him go. So it's 1-0 and Shelby.
A lot of people wonder why you do that. Well, you're a better wrestler on your feet. You don't like being on the top position. You don't want to get in a position that's going to get you negative points. So you let him go.
Yep. If you've got confidence in your takedowns, play to your strength.
Work to your strength, as Coach said. Right now, Northmor goes for the throw.
That's why I let him go.
Yep. Oh, he couldn't follow up with it. Shelby counters back, gets a 2-point takedown.
That makes the match score 3-0.
And there's that little opening, that little simple mistake.
Yeah, he hit a nice move there, just didn't finish it.
Got to be able to finish what you start. Now Shelby's trying to stack him. Oh, and he makes a little bit of mistake.
Reversal
2-point
is
reversal
worth 2
for
points.
Northmor.
They simply reversed positions.
What a reversal is, it's a 2-point move where you're on the bottom, and then the next thing you know, you're on top. Northmor lets him go.
We got to explain those rules to our basketball coach. Coach Tackett's watching tonight. I know he is.
The Shelby coach thinks something might have happened out there that the official missed, so he wants an explanation.
And you can do that. You can talk to the official.
And there's something up with the time. I think it's the time they were looking at. They're going to go back out. The official says, okay, we're going to take care of it. He goes back out on the mat.
The
Both
match
wrestlers
score is
are up.
3-2 in the favor of Shelby. Garrett Baker is ahead 3-2 right now.
Both wrestlers in the neutral position. When both wrestlers are standing and nobody has control, they call that the neutral position. Oh, still nobody has control.
I'll tell you what, Marcus is wrestling well. He's normally a 32-pounder, stepping up tonight to wrestle 138.
Little bit of action out there. Both wrestlers up. It's going to be an interesting third period, Mike. Going to be an interesting third period. I'm looking at Northmor going down.
Well, we're
Shelby
15
letting him
seconds
go.
away from the third period.
Both wrestlers are up in the neutral position.
Northmor will probably go down in the third period.
Keeps trying that throw by, and that's it. Third
Our
period.
choice, Northmore's choice.
Northmor
I say
goes
our
down.
because I'm not impartial. I'm rooting for Northmor. I coached here.
Shelby has a situation where they got to control him, keep him on the mat. He doesn't want to give up a 2-point reversal, so if he gets in trouble, he'll just kick him out and give him the one. Might be an overtime match for us. But right now, Shelby has control. He's got an arm bar in. He's going to try and roll the Northmor wrestler over by using his arm as leverage. It's like a big fulcrum.
Oh, goodness.
Now he's getting back points. He's stacking them. This is called the stack.
And he did, too.
And he's going to get 3 points. The official will award him 3 points once he breaks the hold. Right now, he still has the hold, the arm. You can see it locked in there. And the official will not give him the 3 points until he completes the move.
And there it is.
And
right
there it is. Now he throws 3 up.
So now it's 7-2.
And he's coming right back. I can see him doing it again, Mike. Try and put that arm bar in there and roll him over, get more back. There it is. He's slowly working it. He's got the wrist.
Marcus is one of the kids who fought some quarantine this year. It has just been tough for any coach to condition a team this year. And Northmore's had their share of troubles like any other coach. Who's going to be quarantined this week because of contact tracing?
Garrett from Shelby's on top. He had control when they went out of bounds. He gives Northmor 1 point, lets him go. The score is 7-3. Northmor has 30 seconds to make a move.
You know, Bruce, I remember coaching through the blizzard of 1978. That's how old I am. And I thought that was a tough time to coach. We went about a week without seeing anybody. School was closed. Of course, there were no phones. But I just can't imagine coaching through this COVID season. I pat on the back all the coaches, and especially the athletic directors. Tonight we were supposed to see Jonathan Alder and Utica, and they both bailed. And at the last minute, our athletic director brings in 2 new teams, Mansfield Senior and Shelby.
And
Everybody's
boy,
just looking for mat time this year.
And that's where you get better as a wrestler. You need that mat time. You got to do it on the mat in competition time.
Okay,
right?
We're up to 145, and here comes another league champion for Northmor, Trenton Ramos. Trenton
Trenton's going
Ramos.
to take on Trace Thomas from Shelby at 145-pound weight class.
Trace Thomas is a senior. Trenton is a junior. This is one of those powerful Shelby seniors. Coach Ton has a nice balance of youth and older kids in the lineup.
2-point takedown, Shelby. As Mike said, Shelby, I don't see a weak spot in their lineup.
Well, they didn't field a 106-pounder, but that's about it.
That's about it. And right now, they really look good.
They're ahead, 21-12.
Right now, Shelby's on top. They got the 2 points. He's got the legs in. What that means, he's trying to control the lower body with his legs. He's going to start working the arm bar. Potentially dangerous.
You have to keep that thing at a 90-degree angle. He brought that arm up towards the head, and an arm's just not supposed to bend that way.
And a good official will explain to the wrestler why he was called, and that's what he did.
I think that Shelby, he knows he made a mistake.
Yep.
He's an experienced wrestler, well coached.
And again, he has control. He keeps breaking the wrestler down.
He's controlling those arms.
Trace is doing a nice job on the top, and as Mike said, he controls the wrestler. He's not giving the wrestler an opportunity to get back to his base.
Think of the bottom wrestler as a table with 4 legs. I realize 2 of them are arms, but think of the bottom wrestler as a table. The top wrestler wants to control 2 of the 4 legs. If you control 2 of the 4 legs, the table's going to be broken down. If you control just 1, well, a table can stand on 3 legs. You want that bottom wrestler on his belly. So find a way to attack 2 of the 4 legs.
Both wrestlers in a neutral position. Shelby lost control. Northmor got 1-point escape. The score is now 2-1, Shelby.
They're in the neutral position.
And now we go to the second period. Shelby has choice. And this time, instead of deferring, Shelby takes down.
Those are 2 well-built athletes, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Just think, Bruce, a couple years ago, we used to.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple decades ago?
Yeah, that might be better. Yeah, I wrestled at senior high in 1970. That's a long time ago.
Unfortunately, I'm even older.
Yep. 1 point, Shelby. Shelby took down. He gets his point, escape. Now he's going to work for the takedown. Northmore's behind, 3-1. He needs to make a move, and he tries it.
Oh!
Fireman.
Yeah.
Out of control. You don't see that move much, Mike.
Well, you see it more often in international wrestling, in freestyle. This is not freestyle wrestling.
But I tell you what, that was a nice move. If you could find a young man who could, really make that move work, he can win a few matches. Right now, Northmor just being a little bit overwhelmed.
This is folk style wrestling.
Watch the arm.
We wrestle folk style wrestling in high school and college here in America. But internationally, you'll see freestyle and Greco-Roman. Those are the 2 Olympic wrestling styles, freestyle and Greco-Roman. Greco-Roman, you're only allowed to attack the upper body. No leg, no shots.
As you watch this match develop, you can start to notice the Shelby wrestler breaks him down, and one of the first things he wants to do is put the legs in.
It's now 5-1.
And by putting the legs in, he controls the lower body, and then he uses his upper body to start working the arms.
He's really good at controlling 2 or more of the 4 legs.
You can see him on top looking for an opening. As soon as Northmor lifts one of those legs, gives him an opening, he'll stick his leg in. Right now he's going for a three-quarter.
He's got a leg controlled. He's got an arm controlled. There's not much Trenton Ramos can do until he frees up something.
We're coming to the end of the second period. Shelby's up 5-1. Northmor has their choice now. It's a big decision for him.
He's going to go neutral. He's down 4 points. A reversal doesn't win him the match. He needs the big throw.
He needs a takedown and back points.
He needs the big throw.
When you're down by 4 points, 2 points you can get for a takedown. He's got to get 2+. So he's going to look for a throw or a takedown. Let him go, takedown. He's got the head. He's got the arm.
Looks like he's got a front headlock.
Yep.
Nope.
Tried to throw by.
Nope, he did not.
Both wrestlers are up. Wrestling on the edge of the mat.
They're still in bounds because the supporting parts of the Shelby wrestler are in bounds. Now they're out.
Yep. I've seen wrestlers, that's where they love to be, Mike, on the edge of the mat. They'll wrestle the whole match on the edge.
You know, it's an art, using the line.
And they're very good at it. Right now, Northmor needs to have something happen. Oh, he tried to throw.
You can't blame him. He
Yep.
went to his back, but you can't
tried
blame
it.
him. He knew there was a minute left, and he knew he was behind 6 points. He needed.
Yep.
That was a good effort by Trenton Ramos, even though it ended up backfiring and he got pinned.
And he knew as a wrestler, I'm behind. I need to make something happen. I'm going to try a throw.
It's like
Shelby
a
was
boxer. He
waiting
needed the
for it.
knockout.
Boom. We now move up to the 152-pound weight class. Northmor has Dylan Amons. Shelby has Micah Miller.
Dylan Amons is a junior, a fine young man. I know his family. Micah Miller is a freshman.
And the two wrestlers are out there right now, both in a neutral position. I like this weight class, 152-pound weight class. These are your skilled positions in football.
You know, when we wrestle the sectional in a few weeks, they're going to split the weight classes up.
Yeah.
They're going to wrestle 106 through 145, clear the gym, and then wrestle this weight class 152 through 285 in a separate session.
Right now, Shelby got a takedown, 2 points.
They're going to do that for the district and the state tournament as well.
That was a potentially dangerous move. Didn't want anybody getting hurt. The official will call it. Shelby had control. He starts in the top position. Shelby is now cautioned. He moved before the official blew the whistle. That's a caution. If you have 2 cautions, you start to lose points.
Shelby's very good at controlling the bottom wrestler.
And as Mike said, he is keeping the table broken down. Oh, he got the half in. This is going to be a problem. The coaches are telling him to settle back, try to go chest to chest. Northmore's going to try and get that arm through. He's got to get that arm through.
That's a tough kid for Northmor on the bottom.
And it's a pin.
He just got pinned, but trust me, that's a tough kid.
Boy, I tell you, nice job by Shelby.
They're
He
loaded
was
this year.
Shelby,
the Shelby Wrestling Room has got to be a competitive practice environment.
We are now coming up to the 160-pound weight class. Nico Christo versus Sipe from Shelby.
Nico Christo is a returning state qualifier. Nico's a junior, and he's wrestling a freshman. I think he's wrestling Garrett Sipe, isn't he?
Yep. And you know how much weight that carries when beside your name it says State qualifier.
You can't lose to a title.
And he
But I
has it,
understand
takes
what
him
you're
down.
saying.
And right now, we're going to take it down to the mat. Brian, it's all yours.
All right, Micah Miller is standing by with me now. Impressive pin, man. You were really dominant. Did you get what you wanted to out of that match?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty good. I'm one win away from my 25 for the year. My coach told me it was a pretty nice transition from that other half. So.
What was the game plan going into that match that ultimately led to you getting the pin that quickly?
Pretty much. I try to get my head in the game. Like if I'm not focused, they don't turn out very good. So I just try to stay focused and finish well.
And you guys got a pretty healthy little lead here. It looks like you're going to go to 2-0 on the day. Just tell me about collectively as a team, how much fun it's been to be a part of Shelby Wrestling.
It's my freshman year. Like I've had a ton of fun with all the seniors, and it's just really happy to be on this team. It's nice.
All right, Micah. Well, appreciate you joining me. Good luck to your team moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, throw it back up to Bruce and Mike.
Interview. I like it when he said we're having fun.
Yep.
I used to start every year, first practice, and tell them our number one goal is to have fun.
And you've had some great teams, Mike. Great teams over the past
Every
few
school
years.
has something they do well.
Yeah.
Some schools are known for the band, theater arts, football. Northmore's been blessed to have good wrestling down through the years. We're a little young this year, but
and I tell you right now, Northmore is having his way out there with the Shelby wrestler right now.
yeah, Nico Cristo. Oh, that would have been
a problem.
Yeah.
That's called a stack. And right now you're watching a match out there, and you're looking at one wrestler that's a state qualifier, which means he's got a lot of mat time in. And the Shelby wrestler is a younger wrestler. He's just learning, getting back on the mat.
He's not
There's
giving
a
up, though, is
reverse.
he? Yeah, it can be fun. It can be fun in wrestling. It's a brutal sport, but when you're training your body, knowing you're going to reap the benefits.
And the thing about wrestling, Mike, if you're a good athlete and you wanted to play basketball, you can go out and play basketball and be on a winning team. If you wanted to go out for football your senior, junior year, you can be on a winning football team and you can contribute. But if you've never wrestled and you stepped on the mat as a junior or senior, you're going to get your eyes are going to get open really wide.
Well, you got to learn.
Yep. You got to get the mat time. And some of these wrestlers out here, they've been wrestling since kindergarten.
Yeah, that's the way with Nico Cristo.
And I know when I was coaching, you looked around at the biddy programs. These are the younger kids. Northmore had a tremendous biddy program.
We did.
Yep.
Nico grew up in that biddy program. In fact, his dad, who's on the sidelines right now as an assistant coach, was our head grade school coach at one point.
Galleon has a tremendous biddy program.
Right now they do.
And Nico did a great job. He wrestled. You can see 2 or 3 moves.
There's no doubt about it. The feeder program is everything in a sport like wrestling. Okay, we move up now to a new weight class.
170-pound weight class
where
from
you're going to see
Northmore. We have Colton Brammer.
Yep, Colton Brammer.
And Shelby has Mr. Weaver going on the mat.
Colton Brammer is a no-punk freshman for Northmore. This kid has absolutely no quit in him. He's not polished, but I'm telling you, he's a tough kid.
He's got the head and arms right now, trying to do a throw. Can he pull it? Oh!
Well, he's wrestling.
Couldn't hold on to it. Shelby gets 2 for the takedown.
Yep, he's wrestling Max Weaver. Max is a junior, and Max is a polished athlete.
All right, stud junior Nico Cristo is with me now. Excellent performance there, man. Take me through the finish and how you got it done.
He had 200s on me. I tried to hit a new shot. Didn't work. Put 2 overs in, put it to one side. Shot that far dumb. He was on his back. I just held on and laced the legs.
I see your lips a little bit busted up there. I mean, this sport's not for the faint of heart, is it?
No, I like the blood, though. Looks cooler.
No question about it. I would agree with you on that one. Tell me about your season collectively up to this point, individually and as a team, man. How's it going for you guys?
As a team, we're young. We're all getting better. Trying to improve for next year. We're going to have a way bigger team. Got a lot of 8th graders. Going to make the team better. We're going to compete a lot more next year.
And individually, what's your big picture goals as we get closer to tournament time?
State title.
That's what I'm talking about. I like hearing that.
Yes, sir. Should be a goal for everyone. I mean, why not, you know?
You kids at home watching, you can learn something from Nico here. Thanks a lot for joining me, man.
Thank you.
All right, throw it back up top to you guys.
And right now we're at we finished the 170-pound weight class with a pin by Shelby. And now we're at the 182-pound weight class. And, Mike, who do we got out there?
We got a couple of youngsters. We've got Bodie Workman for Northmor, a sophomore, and a freshman for Shelby named Micah Shackle.
And I love these 2 young men going at it. They got a lot of enthusiasm. They're rolling around out there. Who's going to end up on top? When they make that connection, they're just going to roll and roll. Somebody's going to end up on top one of these times.
I'm rooting for Bodie. Bodie's my neighbor.
And here we go. Again, these are 2 young wrestlers. They're not exactly polished right now.
Well, they're on the mat.
And they're aggressive. They made the weight
classes. You got to fill the lineup.
They're both trying to get control. They're going to make a throw. Here we go. Who's going to come out on? Oh, there it is.
Nicely done, Bodie.
Northmor has a head and arms.
That's my neighbor.
And that's a tough move to get out of. Boom. There it is.
Bodie fishes off my dock.
There you go. You have 2 young wrestlers who are wrestling for the pin. Upper body wrestling. That's your Greco-Roman right there, Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a Greco-Roman move right there.
At the 195-pound weight class, Shelby is going to get a forfeit. No wrestler for Northmor. Zahner from Shelby will raise his hand, gets the victory. I'd like to see him wrestle again. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's one of their stud seniors.
Yep. Now we go to the 220. Northmore's going to put Gavin Whited out there. Shelby's going to put Carson Ingram on the mat.
This is an interesting match. Gavin Whited is a junior, just won the league title last week. And Carson Ingram is one of those stud seniors ranked in the state of Ohio. Ranked high. I think he's undefeated, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. And here we go. Look at him. Again, when you're at a 220-pound weight class, you have 2 young athletes. They both look good. They're looking like they're in physical shape. Look like offensive linemen or backs in football.
I don't want to wrestle either one of them.
No. They're both kind of working around each other.
Those are going to be 2 big, powerful men.
And what grade you say they were, Mike?
Well, Carson is a senior. Gavin is a junior.
Yeah. They've been on the mat. They've got a lot of mat time in. Oh, a trip. Gets behind, takes him down. 2 points, Shelby takedown. Again, Shelby's move is to put the legs in. Right away, Shelby sinks the legs in.
Boy, they do control those
He's
legs.
He's going to the half, rolls
Shelby
him
has
over.
Done a great job of controlling the legs tonight.
And the weight, 220 pounds on your chest, and all at once, all the air goes out.
That's why he's undefeated and ranked in the state of Ohio.
Nice match.
He's a pinner, is what I'm trying to say. He's a pinner.
He will go after you.
If you remember, he was behind in the match to Bradley, but the pin, boom. Ingram is a pinner.
And at 285, it's a forfeit. Shelby wins. Zach McMillan gets the forfeit.
Northmor does not have a heavyweight this year.
And the match is over, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, Shelby. They win 57-24. Shelby is now 18-3 on the year. Looking forward to that MOAC tournament. So many strong teams in the MOAC this year. Not just Shelby, but Ontario, Gallion, Marion, Pleasant, Marion Harding's got some good lightweights, and never discount a well-coached River Valley team.
And they wrestle at Galleon. Home court advantage at Galleon. But I tell you, it's fun, Mike. It's fun sitting here talking with you. And you and I go way back.
Decades.
I don't even want to talk about how long we've known each other. And back in the old days of the J.C. Gorman, and when I was coaching at Ontario, Jeff Schwall, and
all good names.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff Schwall. Shout out to Jeff Schwall.
Mark Silvers, when he was there,
Mark
I was
Silvers.
JV coach with
Mark
him.
Silvers from Eaton, Ohio. His wife, Nan, taught at Northmor.
Yep. And we're going to take a break right now, and Adam's going to bring us back in a little bit. Thank you.
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at Northmor Schools. This is the house that Mike Skelton built. And if you take a look right here, here he is, the star tonight. Mike, how many years did you coach here?
I was here for 40 years and the head wrestling coach for 29 of those 40 years.
Wow. Now, when you first started the program, 29 years, what was it like being a Northmor wrestling coach?
Well, I came in and we had one mat, and things were a lot different in those days. There weren't computers, there weren't a lot of things for kids to do after school, so it was quite easy for me to talk 30-some kids out for wrestling.
And
we had one mat to practice on.
Yeah. And in your 29 years of coaching, you've had a lot of ups and downs, I know. You've built this program where they have respect. What is your greatest moment?
Well, I coached more than 29. I coached the grade school team a few years. I coached the junior high team a few more years. So these first 5 weight classes you're seeing right now they don't match up. We're starting at 106. Cohenhurst just collected a forfeit. Neither team has a 13-pounder. Mansfield Senior doesn't have a 120-pounder, so C.J. Stoney's collecting a forfeit. At 126, Bryant Randolph. So Northmor has collected 3 forfeits in the first 4 weight classes. Neither team has a 132-pounder tonight. Marcus Cortez is normally our 32-pounder, but he's bumping up to 138 to make sure he gets a match.
So our first match of the night is going to be at 138. Marcus Cortez from Northmor versus Ismail Cameron from Mansfield Senior. Mike, we have to come back a little bit and talk about your greatest moment in coaching. And right now, Northmor and Mansfield Senior are on the mat, the 138-pound weight class.
Ismail Cameron and Marcus Cortez are both juniors in high school.
And I can remember Cortez. I did some football games, and he was their quarterback. Very good quarterback. He gets a 2-point takedown, has control of the wrestler.
Yeah, that's our quarterback out there, the football team. And just real quick, I don't think I can really nail down one moment that stands out in a long career, but I always liked hoisting those league titles. Whenever they'd hand out a league title, that kind of made you feel good because you knew it was a team, not just one athlete or one kid. I like sharing things with the team.
That's good to hear. Right now, potentially dangerous move. Cortez is scolded a little bit by the official. Can't do that. Cortez is on top. He has control. He had the takedown, 2-1. All he's going to try to do is knock Senior High to the mat, control him on the mat, and work for a pin combination.
Pats on the back to our junior high team. They dominated tonight on another mat.
Tried to do a 3/4 move there. Has a single leg, trip, takedown, puts Senior High back on the mat. Still has control of the mat.
Cortez is an intelligent athlete working that sideline.
He looked like he was trying to set up a cradle.
He knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah. He still has control. Scores only 2-0. And they don't do riding time in high school, so it doesn't really matter how long you're on top, like college.
Back when we were in high school, they did do riding time.
Yeah,
Do you
had
remember
that
those
clock.
days?
You'd have that clock and move it. Cortez stacks Senior High up and gets a quick pin.
They still do riding time in college.
What riding time is when you get a takedown, you have control. The official at the desk will start the clock. And when you get 1 minute riding time, that gives you an extra point. And a lot of wrestling in college, they win on that.
Okay, Northmore's going to collect another couple forfeits right now. At 145, Trenton Ramos, league champions, running out for a forfeit. And then at 152, Dylan Amons is going to collect a forfeit. So our next match will be at 160 pounds when you'll see two really, really good athletes in Nico Christo and Jacob Lyons go at it. Jacob Lyons, senior captain. Nico Christo, junior captain. This is a premier match, Bruce, right here.
And we're going to take it down to the mat with Brian. Brian, it's all yours.
All right, Marcus Cortez with me now, and it seemed like you were just kind of toying with him a little bit there. Did you get everything that you were looking to out of that match?
Yeah, I've just been struggling on top lately, and I just need to work on my top moves and just stay busy on top and then work it and then finish them off.
When you're going head-to-head with an outmatched opponent, are those key matches for you to be able to work on some different type of styles and, different moves?
Yeah, definitely. It keeps you, staying on your feet, working different moves that you don't work against, moves against good people. And it's honestly like another practice, but just way more intense and getting busy after it.
All right, well, congratulations on a big pin, man. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, throw it back up to you guys.
Thank you, Brian. Right now, Christo has his way on the mat. Oh, he's trying to roll the man. Work and get back points. That's called a tilt. He tilted him, exposed his back. He exposed the back of the Mansfield Senior High wrestler to the mat.
Look at that, talking about a table. He's got 3 of the 4 controlled.
Yep.
3
and
of the 4.
He ends up getting 3 points near fall.
He's got
2 points. He only gave him 2. Scores 4-2 on the mat. This is called the stack. As Mike said, he's controlling 2 of the 4 legs. Tries to lift him.
He's rolling those wrists. He's just dominating out there right now.
Senior High has got to get a little bit of wrist control. Back to the mat. They call it hand control. A lot of times you'll hear coaches on the sideline, you got to get hand control, hand control. Get his hands off of you. Christo's in total control so far. First period goes to Northmor. Northmor is ahead 4-0 on a takedown and a near fall.
I just got a text that says, Nico is a stud.
Yep. Right now, the official is looking for some blood. Somebody says there's some blood out there. The official will stop the match if there's any blood anywhere. Northmor defers to Mansfield Senior. Senior High decides to go back on their feet, both in the neutral position. Senior High is looking for the takedown. Cristo, nice shot on the single leg, gets the lift, takes him down. 2-point takedown right to his back. That's called a 4-point or 5-point move, Mike.
That's called winning wrestling.
The official's holding 2 fingers. As soon as Cristo breaks the hold, he'll reward him with the 2 points for the near fall.
Northmor is ahead right now, 36-0.
And again, Cristo
face
stacks. He stands him up.
We all know Mansfield Senior has some mighty fine wrestlers coming up here in the upper weights.
Cristo has him on his back. As soon as he breaks that hold, then the official will award him. There it is. He's given him 2. It now is 10-0. This might be our first tech fall of the night. Another stack.
Nico can score on Lyons, but Lyons just isn't going to fall onto his back.
I used to have some teams, Mike, we actually practiced getting off of our backs. That's how bad we were. I'd put them in the back position. I say, okay, on the whistle, fight to get off your back. You got to teach them how to do it.
Sure you do.
You got to teach them how to get out of there. Right now, Northmor is ahead, 10-0. He's in the control position. He's on top.
There's 36 seconds left in the second period.
Again, he breaks him down. Coach Skelton talked about that. Rolls him over. More back points. Is now 12-0. 10 seconds left in the period.
I'm surprised. I have great admiration for this Lions kid.
Yep.
It just must be a mismatch of styles. Yep. Nico's good, but the Lions kid is not a 15-0.
And that is what is called a tech fall.
Yeah, 15-0.
Once you're up, it's over at 15.
Lions just had a bad match. Good job, Nico.
But Nico's a nice wrestler. Does some nice things out there.
He does some nice things on the football field, too.
We're now at 170 pounds.
170 pounds. Here comes that tough freshman I told you about named Colton Brammer.
And Mansfield Senior High is going to put Leo Hess out on the mat.
Leo Hess is a sophomore.
And Leo Hess's dad is an Ontario graduate.
Well, Leo's the sophomore that we were so impressed with in the last match, if you remember, against Shelby.
He's got the build of a wrestler.
Oh, my God.
Look at
those. Look at those thighs. They're tree trunks.
And he is very aggressive. Look at the aggressiveness in him. Sometimes when you're that aggressive as the opponent, you just can't get your breath. You can't get a base under you. And Hess is just working on him.
I'm not sure I could beat that kid with a ball bat. He's pretty stout.
Yep. Takedown. This is a takedown, let him up match.
Yep, he's ahead 9-2.
But I think there's going to come a period when you get close to that 15-point tech fall, he'll put him on his back and try to pin him.
I really like this freshman for Northmor.
Yeah. He's got his hands full right now, but you learn. This is how you learn.
Mat time. Anybody who's ever wrestled understands the value of mat time, and that's why you wrestle those spring tournaments. That's why you go to summer camps. Mat time.
And right now, Hess is in control. He's going to kick him out.
He's toying with Brammer.
Yep.
Score is 15-3, and we're still 30 seconds in the first period.
Northmor trying to head and arm, pull him over. Oh, you got to control it.
You know, that shows you what I said about that freshman. He's trying. He's still trying to find a way to win.
And he had the head and arms. He couldn't control him on the mat. He's going to get 3, and the match
If he
ends
sticks
right
with
there.
it, he's going to be just fine.
Another tech fall for senior high. But you're right, Mike. He was aggressive, the Northmor wrestler. He tried to make something happen.
Yep.
He had the head and arms. There was just one little tick when he had him on his back, but I'll tell you what, look at him. What a build. The young man's going to do something.
Now here comes Bodie Workman, sophomore. He's wrestling Dominic.
This is the 182-pound weight class. These are like your offensive linemen for the football team.
Dominic Kinney is a senior, one of the captains on the Mansfield senior team.
Oh, and he gets caught.
Bodie!
Bodie takes him with a head and arms. That's one of the first moves I ever taught my junior high teams, the head and arm.
You know, you need to learn the head and arm just so you can get out of it.
Yep. And there it is. He's going to get 2 points for a takedown. He's going to get 3 for near fall.
It's not the most sophisticated of wrestling moves, but you absolutely have to learn it just so you can defend it.
Yeah. And so he's ahead 5-0. Senior high's kind of got their composure back. Gets 2 points on the reversal.
The senior said, "Look, sophomore, that was a great move. I admire you."
But it's over.
Now I'm going to make you.
And there it is.
Well, the senior.
I like the aggressiveness of Northmor.
You got to love Bodie Workman.
He went after him, said, "Hey, I'm not afraid of you.
Nope,
I'm going to do it."
Nope.
Had him on his back, had him worried about it. We're now at a 195-pound weight class. This is going to be a forfeit for Mansfield Senior.
Unfortunately, it is a forfeit.
All 3 of them are. And the next 3 matches look like they're all going to be
No,
forfeit.
I don't think so. We're forfeiting to Marquise Trochet right here.
Oh, then we got the 220.
And then we're going to see Mackay Bradley, the fine athlete from Mansfield Senior, whose father is the head football coach, wrestling Gavin Whited. So these are 2 fine athletes right here. 2 fine athletes about to go at it at the 220-pound weight class.
And these 2 guys, look at the belts on. Look at the size. I would not want to practice with those guys. Can you imagine being in a weight room with these 2 guys for an hour of practice? They'd have to call 911 and come and get me.
I think I'd take them on in a mile run, though. They're pretty big, pretty stout.
But right now, their upper body working on the head, the arms, the shoulders. Tap and go, tap and go.
Yeah, these are thick kids right here. These are not meant to run the marathon.
No, they're just kind of working it around, trying to figure out a weakness spot.
Feeling each other out for a setup.
What they're doing is trying to get a opening. They're looking for an opening where they can attack the leg or get an advantage. Looking for that advantage.
They're pummeling for hand position. Pummeling.
Senior high is trying to get behind, and Northmor let him.
Bradley's a powerful athlete, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I've spoken to him a number of times. I first talked to him when he was in junior high. He probably doesn't remember me, but I was a table worker at the Gorman, and he was bopping for my table.
Yeah.
And I knew who he was at that time, and he impressed me even in junior high.
He's ahead 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
Look at the arms. I mean, look at the strength.
He's a personable young man.
Yeah. Right now, he's knocked the table down. Coach Skelton talked about getting off your base. Senior high is trying to control.
The high hips win when you're on the mat. Low hips win when you're on your feet, but high hips win when you're on the mat. So look at Mackay Bradley. He's got his hips above Gavin Whitehead's hips. He's keeping his weight on top of Gavin Whitehead. High hips win. He's got a lot of weight on top of the bottom opponent.
And if you don't think that wears on you, you should try it.
Sure it does.
Right now, he's got 220 pounds on top of him, and you've got to stand up or get to your base. which means you got to do a push-up with 225 pounds sitting on top of you.
So the first period ends with the score 4-0. Northmor is ahead team-wise 41-17.
Senior high takes down, second period. See if Northmor can control him and keep him on the mat.
I don't think so.
No.
That's
Senior high just had too much strength. He goes to the stand-up, breaks the grip,
look
gets
at
a
those
1
legs.
point.
He's going to stand up whenever he wants to.
You're right about that. I can't imagine when I was in high school wrestling against somebody like this. I was a 155-pounder too. I was unable to break into the lineup.
That was at a time when Mansfield Senior had an awful lot of kids in the practice room.
And they had a correction gym off of the main gym, and you would come out of there 10 pounds lighter than when you went in.
Yeah.
It was a sweat box.
My old high school team was deep as well.
Yeah. And when you had Bill Flanagan, who's a legend around here, he's got everything started. Tony Mulholland, Denny Jasinski, those coaches worked you to death.
Yeah, my old high school team, I never hit the lineup until I was a junior. There were a number of people in my weight class.
I was in the same position. I had Terry Bishop in the lineup, J.V. Sullivan, Greg Warndorf, Petrella. There was no way you're going to break in with those kids in there. And, you know, as a wrestler, you look for a weight class that you can compete in. Where are you going to go? Right now, Northmore's making a move on the mat, trying to get behind, keep him down. 2.
He got behind.
He got his 2 points.
He's got his 2. The match score is now 3-2 in favor of Mackay Bradley over Gavin Whited.
I think this is going to come down to conditioning. Who's in the best condition?
Caution, improper starting position for the top man.
There are certain rules that when you're on top, you have to do certain things. You have to keep your
He broke the plane of those legs.
Hand on it. Yep. Again, you're not going to keep Bradley down.
So it's 4-2. You can't
Senior
keep
high's
him down.
up 4-2. Northmore's going to have a big third period.
Well, it's possible. Any man is beatable.
Yep. Conditioning. It's going to come down to conditioning in the fourth period.
You can't lose to a record or to a reputation. Any man is beatable. Toe the line and let's see what you got tonight.
Northmor takes down. He wants to score. All he needs is a reversal, and we're tied up. Senior high will probably kick him out, give him 1, still be ahead by 1 point then. Yep, senior high just going to ride behind him. Don't make any stupid moves. If I get in trouble, I'll let him go.
He's ahead 4-2.
I'm going to keep him on the mat. Coach Skelton said high hips. He's got the weight on him. He's breaking the table down.
High hips win when you're on the mat. And look at the way he split the legs. When he splits the legs, then he's got that weight on his opponent's hips. That's a smart move there. He split the legs.
And I don't think you realize how much energy you expend pushing yourself off the mat to get back to your base.
That's staying behind and splitting the legs. Now, you're not going to pin him that way. You got to come out to the side to get the pinning combination.
We're getting into the time where conditioning starts to pay off. Who's in the better shape?
When you stay behind like that, you're parallel.
Northmor stands up. Potentially dangerous move. Senior high's being cautioned.
Easy to ride an opponent when you're parallel, but to pin, you're probably going to have to come out and get perpendicular, off to the side.
Senior high seems to be huffing and puffing a little bit. Northmor stands up.
Well, that's COVID's fault. That's not Mackay Bradley's fault. Not that Mackay Bradley has COVID, but there's just the practice room is, you just can't, from week to week, depend upon who's in there, and there have been times that they have been quarantined, unable to practice.
Senior high pulls Northmor back on the mat. The official will probably call them out of bounds here in a moment, or let them
no,
wrestle.
No, they're in bounds. All you need are 2 supporting parts. It can be 1 knee from one athlete and 1 knee from the other. But right there, Gavin Whited was the only one that had a supporting part in bounds. So the referee did stop the match.
We're down to 35 seconds, 4-2. All Northmor needs is a reversal to tie it up.
They tie it up. They go into a 1-minute overtime on their feet.
Senior High is just using his strength, taking him back down to the mat. 20 seconds to go. It's going to be tough for Northmor to work out of this one.
Remember, we do not have a heavyweight. Mansfield Senior will collect the forfeit at heavyweight. So we're effectively watching the last 10 seconds of wrestling tonight. Before we close, I want to wish all these athletes good luck in a few weeks when they wrestle their sectional. At the end of February.
And that's when things start to heat up.
Good luck, coaches.
Yep. To all the coaches, to all the athletes out there, it's the big shows coming up.
That was 4-2. 4-2. Mansfield Senior won. That makes the match score 41-26.
Senior High gets a forfeit at the heavyweight, and tonight's wrestling is over.
Bruce, it's been a pleasure to work with you, sir.
Mike, it's always fun to come back to the dome that you built. You put this together.
Yesterday I spoke with John Spencer for about 20 minutes. There's a good man, huh?
Yep.
We miss him.
And he covered everything for us.
Yeah,
he took care of us at the Gorman.
He would have been here on a night like this.
Yep. Mike, how'd you, when you look at the Gorman, which is kind of a standard wrestling tournament around here, what was your best finish in that?
Well, we won it.
Yeah, I know that. Come on, I was going to open the jar for you to talk about it.
I'll tell you if you do want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I remember we won it, and I think the year was 2000, and we won it a year too early with a young squad. The very next year, Mother Nature took the Gorman away from us on a snowy weekend, and I felt really, really bad because we were loaded. I wanted to defend, and we didn't get our chance. But you're not going to beat Mother Nature.
And right now, we're going to take it down to the mat.
Coach Carr, a good man.
Coach Carr is going to talk it over with Brian.
Scotty Carr.
It's all yours.
Northmor coach Scott Carr is with me now, and you end the day on a high note here, a win over a Mansfield Senior. What did you like about your team's performance here in that second opportunity?
Just the way they battled back, after a pretty heavy beatdown we took from Shelby. They battled back and came back and worked hard, and that's all we can ask. That they didn't tuck their tails between their legs and give up.
As you start heading into, conference meets and then the big tournaments on the horizon here, how key is it to get in some of these tri competitions to see some top competition like Shelby?
Yeah, at this stage, we're ready for any competition. I mean, with the lack of tournaments this year, we've only been in one tournament. That was our conference tournament that we just had this past weekend. So, we're used to some, bigger 2-day tournaments that we get, 4, 5, 6 matches in a weekend. And we're just not getting that. So, to get any competition at this stage is good. And a good quality opponent like Shelby to, test us, see where we're at heading into the postseason. Can't go wrong with that.
And as you get ready for sectionals here, are there some roles that you need to fill in, or what do you think you need to do to take the next step, get ready for the big competition?
I think the big thing is to stay focused. We got a pretty big layoff here. We don't wrestle again until the 27th. Oh, wow. So that's a good, 2.5 weeks until sectionals. We just got to stay focused. We really need to push hard and get in better shape. I think, if you watched and people at home watching, you can see we're just not there yet, and these next couple weeks we're really gonna hit it pretty hard and get these guys in shape, and hopefully we peak at the right time.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. All right, we'll throw it up to Bruce and Mike one more time.
Thanks, Brian. Nice job tonight, Brian, down on the mat. And a big shout out to OH Report. They've done a great job in high school sports here. And It's just unbelievable what this crew has done for sports in this area, Mike.
Violent free.
Yeah, it has really been a great time. And Mike, it's been great talking wrestling with you again.
It's always a nice time to watch a wrestling match. But when I'm seated next to you, Bruce, it just enhances the evening. Thank you for inviting me,
Yeah,
sir.
it's been fun. And you know, when you coach somebody in wrestling, it becomes a more personal feelings between the coach and the wrestler. And I used to love coaching junior high, watching those kids develop. You know, I had turnball in junior high. I had all those kids wrestling. Then they come up and they win the state, and you just sit back and smile and say, "Man, I was part of it. His bringing up," and that's what makes it worthwhile. And
Think of the impact you had on their lives.
yep, 30 years later, they still come up and say, "Hey, coach, remember those practices we used to have?" And we used to do things like this. And we'd get back from a match, and I'd go to the Ontario Middle School, and you'd sit there and have to call the parents. And you waited there with the kids till the parents come and pick them up. And you start talking to them about wrestling and diet and watch what you eat and what do you got to get better at. And
I got to be honest with you, I'd do it all over again if I were a young man.
yeah, those were some of the best times. And I had the opportunity. I never coached a varsity team, but I had the opportunity to coach with Coach Schwall, and I had Mark Silvers. And when you coach under those guys, you learn a lot. And it was just a lot of fun at Ontario. We had some state champions come out of there. They built the foundation of wrestling. I was heavily involved with the junior high and JV and the biddy program. And when you work through the biddy programs and you see it, you know, blossom at the end, and those kids go to state, it just
You underestimate your name in Mansfield area wrestling when you say you were never a head coach. If I
Yeah.
had to name 10 names in the Mansfield greater area that have impacted the sport of wrestling, Bruce Weirich's name would be in my top 10.
yeah, that's
You
just
would. You
that's,
would.
that's just because I got lucky with the computer, and
Yeah, I mean, that counts.
yeah, we took the Gorman from paper and pencil. We put it online. We tried to live up to what the name meant. I always told myself, well, if Coach Flanagan would ever come back, would he be proud of where we've taken it?
Sure he would.
And when you work with Dick Winbigler, the athletic director then, and Doug Castle, who was running it, and Jimmy Grubbs, you know, you got to feel a little bit of a pride, and you took pride, just like you take pride in the Northmor wrestling program.
Don't you miss Doug Castle? I do.
Yep.
And Jimmy Grubbs, shout out to you. Good man.
Yep, and those are the men that are wrestling. We're going to wrap this up here, and we're going to send it back to Brian here in a couple minutes, and he'll finish up for us tonight. But
God bless everyone out there. Stay healthy. Drive home safely.
Mike, great job. I'm looking for a 2-hour delay maybe tomorrow. Those roads were a little slick coming in here.
Suck it up. Go to work.
Oh, I love my job. Can't say enough about that.
Go get him, Brian.
And right now we're going to send it back to the floor. And for the closing ceremony, we have Brian Skowronski. Brian, it's all yours.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. And man, what a treat to have Mike Skelton, the guy who the gym is actually named after, the Hall of Famer, the legend, on our broadcast tonight. So we appreciate Mike for coming through and providing some fantastic commentary along with Bruce. Excellent job. And it was a very fun night of wrestling here. And a couple of takeaways for me. Shelby Whippets are the real deal, man. I mean, they've got some top contenders that could compete for state championships. And as a team from top to bottom, they got a really deep, collective, good group of kids. So look forward to seeing the Whippets next week at the MOAC Championships and then moving forward into the state meet. Northmor as well. They just got to get, as you heard Coach say, a little bit better conditioning. They could be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. And I love what my man Nico said. Hey, if your goal is not state championship or bust, then you ain't doing it right. So that's going to be my top takeaway for the night. And for Mansfield Senior, they just got to develop a little bit more depth. I really like some of the top kids that they have on the team. The Bradley kid, as a sophomore, had the most exciting match, I think, that we saw of the night when he went toe-to-toe with Carson Ingram. Just a fun overall experience here in North Bloomfield Township. at the Old Northmor School. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up our coverage here for our Try Meet Wrestling. Want to thank everybody out there for watching and thank our amazing crew, including Bruce and Mike, along with Adam Thompson for producing, Mason Neese on camera, myself for running camera, doing a couple of sideline reports. My name is Brian Skowronski. Take care for now, folks. We'll be on a live stream near you tomorrow. And actually, if you still want to watch some live and free high school sports, we're down at Fredericktown right now with G-Man in store. See you next time.